Time for the very critical practice hour for the TT of Assen. Welcome to MotoGP. And we've already got a yellow flag out in the first sector. We haven't even started the session. It's one of the Grassinis. I think it's Alex Marquez who has gone down at turn number 1. So we had Mark down this morning and in the first 5 minutes, and now in the first 2 minutes off the track has gone Alex Marquez. Dropped the front coming in towards turn number 1. So he'll have to do another run around. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to MotoGP. Julian watching on thinking, well, what's happened there then? He's got the aero screen smashed. I presume it's been a bit of a high side. Into turn 1, he's going to fall off. Brake turns in on the right. He'll slip off. Front end dips, and then the bike's going to barrel roll into the gravel. We'll see it from the back camera. Yeah, it rolls over. Not a huge accident, not a lot of damage done to the bike, so if they can get that back to the pit lane in the session, it should be okay to get going. Yeah, rider okay and already on his way back to the garage with the bike abandoned, so he'll be back to bike 2. This yellow flag will spoil everybody else's lap times that we've got going on. Marc Marquez then, crashed this morning. Still the fastest rider in practice 1. Now coming into the practice hour, it's going to be critical to see if he can keep that going so he can have a longer run in Q2 tomorrow. Gets out of the way of his teammate Pecco Bagnaia. Zarco's gone top 135.302, but all these lap times are going to be deleted by race control for setting them under yellow flag conditions. So Zarco and Oliveira, just in the side, 2 more having their lap times taken away as well. Early on in this session, Bagnaia lap time cancelled, ergo yellow flags. So the top 10 will automatically progress to Q2. Everyone from 11 to 22 will have to go through qualifying 1 tomorrow morning at 9:50 British Summer Time. It's 10:50 over there in the Netherlands. As Marc Marquez into turn 1 now will be able to go again. He knew the rules, backed off, had a cool down lap, kept the tyres in the right working operating temperature and got going again. And that's Zarco. I wonder if we've got oil down. You're back with us. Hello. Apologies that we had a little bit of interruption due to a signal loss. And well, we're going to have a red flag for sure. We've got multiple riders down. Zarco's down. Aldeguer's down. Several riders are going down on the deck. Unless there must be some form of oil down. Yellow flag sectors 2 and 3. Morbidelli, Aldeguer and Zarco have all gone down. Turn 7, 13, 18. Now, if I was race control, I would suspect that there's something on the track and red flag the session. Because we've got marshals at key points of the circuit now. Bagnaia's gone fast, but all these lap times aren't going to count. Yeah, apologies that we lost Wi-Fi there, but thank goodness for next door, because now we're using their Wi-Fi to broadcast this session. So thank you very much for them giving us that Wi-Fi password earlier on in the season. This is Zarco on the final chicane, turned in, the front just dipped away. So that's in the opening space of 6 minutes. We've had a total of 7 riders crash. That is absolutely insane situations happening right now. Madness. No, they haven't red flagged the session either. If I was race control, I would have put out the red flag just to check that the track was okay, because it was so many going down at one time. You have to start thinking. And we've still got yellow flags out now in sectors 2 and 3. Very dramatic opening session here. Let's take a look at what happened to Franco Morbidelli. This is the Ruska. Oh my word! Huge accident for Morbidelli. He's thrown off the bike. The bike, however, completely destroyed in the grass area coming through Ruskenhoek. He's back in already. Yellow flag now at sector 4. So both of the Grassinis have gone down. Four Ducatis have gone down. And this is Aldeguer. Yeah, just dropped the front and fell off the bike. Yeah, that's really unusual. Well, Assen bites. And I've just realised something else that I've now got to go check. Let's head back over to the world feed. as we're now hopefully going to have our systems back shortly. Right, let's go back.
Touching the throttle there.
And another one!
I mean, they are.
There's another one down! And that is one of the Hondas. Is that some cat chancher? I think it is. Right, red flag this session. There's something wrong out here. I can't understand why this race is not, this session is not, that's Alicia Spargo's gone down. Let's take a look at what's happened to him. Well, that's in the pit lane area. Well, I am shocked that they have not stopped this session. We're 8 minutes in, and there's clearly something wrong with the track. Let's take a look at what happened to Alicia. Front's going to dip. Yeah, on entry. So there's something seriously wrong with the track right now. This should be a red flag. I'm surprised it's not a red flag, to be fair. This whole situation, Cassini Nightmare as well, as Sean's back as well. Martin's not just human in FP1. Yeah, Mark was really insane in practice earlier on. And I just checked that the commentary is still going for the F3 qualifying with Omi and Tom talking you through that. Looks like it is. Yeah, everyone thinking it's a shocking only 10 minutes, isn't it, as well? Hang on a minute. That's another one down. That's Bastianini. Bastianini's gone down now at the last corner as well. Made that another rider who's gone off. Salvadori, Chancha, Alicia Spargo, Rins, Dijantonio, Aldeguer, Alex Marquez. This is getting insane. The track temperatures aren't even that bad. I can't understand why we're in this weird situation with the track being the way it is. I'm trying to see the track temperature. 26 degrees, air temperature 18 degrees. Wind at 7 kilometers an hour. It's not that bad. 10 minutes in, and about 12 riders have crashed. Only, yeah, out of those at that time. It's hard to work out who's where, actually. Morbidelli, Bastianini, Alicia, Aldeguer, Alex, and all the lap times getting cancelled by race control as well for sending them under yellow flags. If I was anybody out there, I'd box right now. Acosta's going to go third. Binder goes up there, but they'll lose lap times too. They won't get away with it because they too were off the circuit during red flags. I'll just say one thing, by the way. We get told here how much internet we're using. We never went above 9,000 on our Wi-Fi. Connected to the next doors to use this session, 12,000. So we better get on with sorting out our internet quite quickly, which is surprising me. Got a bruise on my leg, I've just noticed. Quartararo flying into the last corner. He's a 10th down at the moment. Bezecchi's up by a 10th and a half. Quartararo fastest, 132.516. Marco Bezecchi on the Aprilia looking stronger. Yeah, times just keep flying through. Also, I want to say thank you for 2,000 subscribers on the JB Motorsports 2 channel. Going through that in about a month and a half. If it keeps on growing the way it is, we'll have to. The main channel will have less subscribers than the second channel. That's incredible growth, by the way. To get 1,000 subscribers in a month. That didn't even happen on the other channel. So yeah. Quartararo 1.132.516. Bezecchi's up by a 10th of a second. So is Bagnaia. Bagnaia's now inside the time set by Quartararo. Bezecchi should go quickest here and does. 132.346. Looking for Bagnaia, who will be in the last corner shortly. Maverick Vinales, 3/10 down. Over the line he comes. Is it faster on the KTM? Well, it's 4th fastest because Bezecchi's still top. Bagnaia's going to go quicker here. 54,000. Oh, he's boxed. Okay. Medium front soft rear tyre. Bagnaia has decided now's the opportunity to come in and stop for a while. Only 12 riders have set a lap time in this session, but despite all of them going out the circuit, that just shows you how much lap time cancellations we've had and how much deltas have had to change as well with the yellow flag rules. So they'll still change them over as Quartararo does a 1:32.391 on that last lap time. Bezzecchi's the top runner, 1:32.346. Aldeguer's coming back in. There's Aldeguer's bike. Miller getting pushed back in as well on the Prima Pramac Yamaha. Didn't speak much last time out as I was over at Alton Park and Megan was leading the commentary, but Top Rat Rasgaglioli moving over next year to Honda. No, not to Honda. Where's he going? Yamaha. Well, thought he might go there, but he's off to the Prima Pramac squad. See how many riders have gone down. The blog can't even catch up with how many are off the circuit right now. There's Bezzecchi, 1:32.478, his last lap time by. Not too much, he's remaining consistent. Quartararo is 20 thousandths of a second down at the moment. Nope, and he's coming through down at Ruskenhoek now. The final few sectors of this track. This is where, ooh, little mistake there from Quartararo. Right leg coming loose. But correct and hold. As Quartararo, he's dropped, he was 65 thousandths down. I would not be surprised that cost him 2 to 3 tenths of a second. As Marc Marquez exits the pit lane for his first official run in this session, as Quartararo has boxed as well. You can see throughout the field, by the way, that all the television producers use the same headsets. That's because it's mandatized by Dorna so that they don't jam their frequencies. Formula One use a similar tactic, but they only issue radio packs. Dorna give you the whole lot. Coming in. This is on board now with Marc Marquez. Down into turns 6 and 7. Rejoining the original parts of the circuit that's still here from when it was a 13 long mile circuit. Many people actually said when Assen got brought back on and modified to the circuit we have today, it's the equivalent of doing it to the Isle of Man. They purpose-built a circuit and put the TT here. So this is still the original site of the original run, but yeah. Only 2 circuits in the world have had permanents built around them when they were longer. One is Spa, the other is the TT Assen. The Isle of Man remains a street race. This was a street race originally, and it grew into a circuit. Spa was originally a road circuit. Technically it was classed as a street and road circuit up until 2005, when they finally closed the public roads area in Spa, and it became a private circuit they can run all year round. Because the bus stop, chicane, used to be the bus stop, an actual bus stop. And then when they modified the circuit 2006, ready for when Formula 1 returned in 2007, it became a purpose-built race circuit for the first time. So we had more runoff areas in it in places as well, greater safety. Boggles the mind that Eau Rouge was actually once a street, an actual street, that run up the hill and down the com. It's all part of a road network as well. And it used to rejoin, it used to go off down at the Lacombe chicane, and it used to rejoin the track, the original layout, down at Curve de Port Frere, down at Stavelot. So the original circuit had the original triangle, and it was like a triangle. And it zoomed around the cities as well, down through Spa, Malmedy, Stavelot, the original parts of the circuit. As Bezzecchi, 1:32.346, still fastest. One more with Marc Marquez, who's setting his first benchmark time of the session. One of the only riders out there on the circuit, actually, alongside Johan Zarco. A few more at the bottom of the timing tower. Mark goes 4th, 1:32.859. Yeah, I agree with SHT here with Sean. It should have just been a red flag in the original part of the session. It was dangerous beyond belief coming in. Right, I'm off to go check quickly how Formula 3 is going. Let's hand it down then once more to our colleagues over at TNT Sport. Hopeful that this is going to work, because I'm just adding the existing audio capture over, and it is. Let's go over to it now.
Especially on the back, you've got Mandeveen, Duikersloot, then Milmere, the fast bit. That sector, it starts so early building up the speed, but you also have to be smooth. So you can push as hard as you want. It's not going to bring you lap time on this track, so you have to find a nice flow. And
should have told me that like 10 years ago when we were teammates.
No, you said you gave the answer today. We were teammates.
Yeah, you can't help your teammate. First rival, as Marc Marquez went through in fourth place. There is a lot of rhythm, isn't there? Especially when you mentioned there from Mandeveen there. Every kilometre of an hour and that we're talking from turn 10. You'll hear us talk about it. It's sort of like a double apex right. But every kilometre of an hour that you set up or that you have through there, you're carrying it all the way to the final chicane.
Yeah, exactly. And you arrive turn 15, Ramshoek, which is a fast corner. So you're not going to win a lot of time there. You're going to win all the time from 10 all the way to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
This is the Ramshoek now.
Yeah, it's a fast corner, so you're never going to find a couple of 10s there. It all starts before.
And into the chicane. So many moments to talk about over the years, but can't remember the clash that he had with Valentino Rossi in there when Rossi ran it through the gravel. I'd love to know. I might go and find Mike Webb later on today. What would you do in that situation now with Marc and Valentino? Obviously, exceeding track limits on the last lap in the last corner would be one thing, but there was contact. Marc also didn't necessarily make the corner, but attempted to. It'd be interesting to know what Mike Webb would have done in 2025 with that.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, there was contact.
Yeah.
So you'd think, yeah, it wasn't his fault. But then he did.
But then he did pin it.
And you could clearly see as well the hand just going.
And the look over the shoulder to go, yeah, come on then.
Spin over the gravel. What do you think, Michael?
Well, just read the rules. If you're fighting for a position.
Dear. Obviously, Pecco Bagnaia has been dominant here over the last couple of years. Won his first ever race here back in the day, back in the Moto3 Class 4 Mahindra. Way back when that Bagnaia won his first race, so he's strong here, but he comes up against Marc Marquez this season. When you look at Marc from outside, obviously you've raced against him, as you say, when you stood in for Tech 3 Yamaha on a couple of occasions out on the flyaway races. But what do you see about Marc Marquez? What's your appreciation of what he does?
Yeah, well, I think we see everyone know the talent he has, and for all them years, and of course he had a bad couple of years, but I think now getting on that factory Ducati, he's enjoying it again, and we see the real Marc. And I think what's happening now is what we all expected. You get him on the factory Ducati, he's getting fun back, he's getting good feeling with the bike back, and he's just gonna say bye to everyone.
What about you now? I'm just thinking races coming up, Donington coming up very soon. You always like going to Donington, don't you?
Yeah, I love Donington. It's a nice old school track, and it's always fun to ride there. So looking forward to it. And it's a bit like Austin. There's this nice flow, and there's a little bit stop and go, and it's a bit of everything.
Yeah, it does have a little bit. I think the fans love it as well. Of course, that's coming up very soon. Of course, we'll have it all on TNT Sports, past the halfway point, of course, of the World Superbike Championship. How is it in the championship at the moment, with all these big gaps in between races? How is that from a rider's point of view? Is it good or a bad thing?
Yeah, this is, the calendar isn't ideal, but now we have like a kind of a rhythm, so that now it's getting better for sure. And it's just a shame that we have so much time, but we're not allowed to test so much. So for sure we all want to ride more, especially now with rules being changed and adjustments being made to the bikes just before race weekends for example fuel flow things.
Yeah. This is one of the things. Obviously, there's been the adjustments for BMW this year. Part of it, I'm sure, down to top rack results that come into it. Even though you're up against it, it feels like on occasion. So that's something you've got to take into account all the time in World Superbike.
Yeah, and I think it's very hard to really follow it now from the outside. We get penalized. Also, Hulaga get penalized. But at the end, what's the result? There's no difference. every weekend is the same, so it's not really working the way they expected it to be. But it is what it is right now. But for sure there needs to be a change, because you know the field is very competitive. Everyone is very close in lap times, but it's just Buliga and Toprak just beating everyone.
Well, they are beating everybody, and Toprak doing a triple last time out as well in San Marino, or the Emilia Romagna round of the championship as well. Still was super impressive. And the next round is going to be at Donington Park, the British round of the World Superbike Championship, in 2 weeks' time at Donington. Not entirely 100% sure if I'm doing that one, to be fair, because there's a lot to do that weekend, and the Formula E have their season in Berlin, and it could be a championship deciding weekend. And there they go, have to cover that one. Marc Marquez is top, 131.993. Marco Bezzecchi is second. Fabio Quartararo is third. Di Giannantonio fourth. Bagnaia fifth. Vignales sixth. Rins is seventh. Zarco eighth. Ninth goes to Binder. 10th to Miguel Oliveira as well. That's your top 10 automatically through to Q2 if this session goes as long as it is now on the control board. Quartararo is 0.111 off the pace at the moment, but he's still finding some time with 35 minutes to go of the session. We've also got the action for Formula 3 still kicking off as well. So it's with no Megan here. Megan's here this weekend. She'll be with us tomorrow for the qualifying. Well, actually, Megan takes us through practice 2. And then she'll be with us, and I'll be back with her for qualifying. And then all the action will kick off for the sprint race. And then I think she'll be with you for Moto E race 2. Will be on the call as well for that one later on in the weekend. So there's a lot of ups and downs with really how this weekend's going to progress, with MotoGP in a direct clash with Formula 1. Me and Megan will be commentating on the opener of the MotoGP race, and anything goes wrong, we'll be having a backup commentary box set up like at Silverstone, where Megan can go and immediately take over the broadcast and do the commentary as well. So all will be well in the end. Marc Marquez still top of your 6th fastest at the moment then. Everyone taking this one nice and cool. They're not wanting to have a delay. We've had enough today with how the red flags and running orders have been coming through. Yeah. Quartararo, 0. Oh, he's up. I was going to say he's 0.006 down, but now he's a 10th up in the 3rd sector coming through Ruskenhoek. So Fabio Quartararo might be on here to set the fastest time of the session so far. If he hugs that inside line nicely. Controls the exit up towards the line. And Quartararo is top. 131.968. Well, the man has taken 3 pole positions in a row just a couple of rounds ago. Definitely knows what to do when the situation goes right. Take a look now at the VR46s with Franco Morbidelli. 16th fastest at the moment. Needing to find some faster times. Marc Marquez 2nd fastest. Di Giannantonio is 3rd. Bezzecchi in 4th. Bagnaia 5th. And Pedro Acosta jumps up from 15th place up into 8th. So more delta time gained in there. Aldeguer 4th. So Acosta's P8. Morbidelli on a better lap time coming through shortly as well over the line. And moves himself from 16th to 12th. So it's still outside the top 10 positions, but a little bit better in the overall movement of things this weekend so far. 132.767 for Acosta. That's still the Delta tracker that we need to keep an eye on. Here's Quartararo. Hugs that inside line, doesn't he? He knows he doesn't need to have too much of a desperation. He doesn't want to lose out much on the situation out there on the circuit, so he'll hold it back over the line. 1:32.143 for Quartararo. A much better time zone there than what I was expecting. That's the crew chief, Diego Gubalini, as well, watching on for Fabio Quartararo. Oh, big one! Red flag's going to come out now. Trackhouse bike on fire in Sector 3. Ayagura has had a huge impact. Bike on fire at the rear right. He's up in his OK. He's given the signal. Red flag is out. Session suspended. Not surprised they have to stop the session. Huge impact for Agura. He's up, walking away straight away, but just a flash of flame across the television monitor. And the rear of the bike engulfed in flame. So he loses it, high sides him round, the bike pirouettes at over at that point 150 mile an hour mid-corner. Slams down, ruptures the fuel tank. And that's down at turn 11. It's lucky actually that Agura was it was a high side, but he was thrown sideways onto the track and not with the bike, because we've seen accidents in that section of the circuit where the bike sort of drags you with you. So red flags understandably out, session suspended for a couple of moments, and that was a biggie. Quartararo 1:31.968, he's got the fastest time. Well, that's come at the right time actually, because I need to leave the commentary box to go and sort out the action for the Formula 3 qualifying session that's about to end. Quartararo back in. That was a huge accident though. We've seen the replay, but whew, they'll recover that shortly and get it all sorted. Let's head down to TNT.
You're asking for a lot at a lot of lean angle, and when they step out they do so faster and more violently. So unfortunately for Ayagura, it almost low-sided all the way around, but found some grip all the way out at almost 90 degrees front wheel to rear and threw him over the top. So yeah, luckily he doesn't look too badly beat up, but it was a tough old impact into the ground.
He's gonna be sore in the morning. It's one of those, and he's only really just back from his previous injury, of course. Yeah,
he's come back from breaking his tibia just underneath the knee.
Yeah, sort of the top of his tibia, like the head of it.
Yeah, there was a lot of energy in that crush, wasn't it? You know, when he goes like that, and when he regrips so late. We're gonna watch it again there.
Oh, he's coming round on him.
Oh,
from early
impact.
On. Wow. Moto2 world champion will be feeling the effects of that one. The bike looking a little bit second. Davide Brivio hands to his face if to say, oh dear me, that's a bit more on the parts bill. This is Aldeguer behind him. Watch I's bike in the distance. Not something you want to see. Marshall's worked brilliantly, really quickly to get out to I.
I'll tell you what, it's good to see him walking away from that one. That was a really huge one. Really big crash there, and like I said, you come out of turn 10 and you basically keep leaning into 11, and normally you can feel the rear tire, you know, sliding around and sort of getting, you know, sort of complaining as you try and put as much throttle as you can and as much lean angle as you can as well. And it's not a place where you usually high side really, because you normally get quite a lot of feel there, you know, and the traction control is holding the bike as well quite a bit.
It's the way there.
It shows you the traction control is not going to save everything, you know.
Exactly what I was thinking, exactly what I was about to say. And you know, if it's soft tyre and then it's suddenly gripped as well, yeah. It's going to grip. It came around so far, wasn't it? But the traction control is not the be-all and end-all.
No, there's a lot with the GP bikes. There's a lot of, you know, control. People kind of assume that the electronics are, you know, are doing a lot of the work, but there's a lot of control in the hand. And actually, the riders, these guys, fastest riders in the world, they want to have control in the hand. They want to feel that connection, you know, from from the right and from the wrist to the rear tire. They ask for it, and sometimes it means that you can overdo it, you know, yourself. And
which is something that Fabio said recently, hasn't he, with the Yamaha?
Yeah.
They're actually dialing back the electronics on that.
Yeah.
Maverick Vinales talking about switching more to a cable throttle as well, to have it more in the hand.
Yeah, well, essentially, when you boil it down, traction control affects 3 outputs, so your ignition, spark, your fuel, and your throttle map. So it just takes them all away. So essentially, it makes your bike a little slower. When you think about it for a rider, that's taking connection away from the rear tire. Obviously, it manages tires, it makes the slides easier to handle, but it's not infallible. You can still high side, as we've just seen, and it's not always the fastest way. So sometimes putting it back in the rider's hand is the best way to regain the connection with the rear wheel.
Can we go back to where we were, just talking about Michelin and the front tyre before, because we had actually been talking about the front tyre, haven't we, at this point, that, you know, a lot of people were there on the soft tyre, the medium. We've seen a lot of them let go early on in this. Do you think we're going to see a new Michelin front tyre?
it's I mean, there's rumours out there that it's not going to come out, and obviously it's just one more year now for them, and mainly this front tyre, you know, was developed as a countermeasure to this overloading of the front because of the ride eye devices. It's the ride eye devices basically that brought that extra load onto the front tires and started the issues that we could have with the tire temperature, the tire pressure, and so on. So you know, with Michelin moving to World Superbikes from 2027, this is a problem that will not be there anymore. I think as soon as you take away the ride eye devices, you take away the problem.
It's gone there.
It went very early, yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'll tell you what, that was a massive impact. He's solid, Agura, just coming back as well from breaking that tibia.
How he landed on his hip, and you can see the contortion through his core. That will definitely smart in the morning.
Yeah, it's at that point where you just ask a little bit more to start closing 11 and go a little bit and go towards the curb, and yeah, it just went right there with the maximum lean.
Well, the bike will be second hand. Agura himself will be second hand. It was interesting yesterday in the press conference. Maverick Vinales, one of those, was asked about the front Michelin tyre, and he said, "I'd have it tomorrow if I could have it."
The new one, yeah.
The new tyre. I would have
Loads
it
of
tomorrow.
riders liked it.
And I think basically the ones you prefer a harder front tyre. Your Pedro Costas, those kind of people. Brad Binder, I seem to remember, was another one. Said, yeah.
Pecco was a big fan.
Yeah, he loved it.
Yeah.
The ones who do like to lean on it, lean on the front tyre, but interesting to see if it
first
comes or
time
not.
he tried it was in Misano, and he absolutely loved it straight away.
So as we look down to Pecco Bagnaia down there in the garage, we were going to switch down to the Ducati garage, but I've just seen in our screen Davide Tardozzi's been forced to run back into the garage to have a little bit of a conflab with the team, as Fonsi Nieto in turn is chatting with Miguel Oliveira. There'll be a new Yamaha livery. It's 70th anniversary for Yamaha. They have Yamaha Day on July the 1st. They've got a nice new old school look, and there we can see Rachel down there with Davide Tardozzi on the main screen. So let's switch to our camera and hopefully get a quick word with Davide, Rachel, just before they're about to send him out there, if you can hear us.
Yeah, just about, Gav. Thanks so much, Davide. It's been a busy session. I'm not sure you'll be able to hear me now. First question, though, on this session. Obviously, Mark, you said he had some bruising earlier on in the crash. It looks like he's okay. He's had a pretty solid session so far.
Yeah, he's a bit injured on the left arm, but, you know, Champions doesn't feel the pain, and he's okay, he's okay.
Tell me about, I guess, all the crashes as well. That medium tyre, it seemed to be pretty difficult for the riders out there. Did you expect that?
Yeah, the problem is that today, this morning, and also now, the surface is too cold, and sometimes the tyre needs time to get hot, and that's why we had so many crashes.
Getting very loud down here. I'll let you get back to your team. Thank you, Davide.
Thank you.
There, thanks to Rachel for allowing Davide Tardozzi to speak to us there. But it seems like there's a lot going on down there in the Ducati garage. Very, very busy. I think a few communications. So Good of him to step out and have a quick word with us. But yeah, a little bit of pain for Marc Marquez. I like that though, champions don't feel pain. They do, but somehow manage to compartmentalise it and put it to a certain part of their brain as he comes through the Shrubben now. And it was a big whirlwind of a crash earlier today.
Oh, crashes like that, you feel them. you feel them big time. You know, it's a big shot. It's a big something. I don't know how to describe it. As in, like, if you don't have a specific injury, you still feel like you know you've been through, like the body's been through it. So yeah, high speed crashes like this, you always feel them. On the day, you feel them the day after as well. The body sort of tightens up, and yeah, when you wake up the next day, you can really feel it. So you know, he'll be out there feeling it. We know he's brave, and we also know that Marc he doesn't want to look weak ever. So even if he was in real pain, he would try to you know to hide it from the competition.
So Alex Marquez back out after he had his own crash down at turn 1 where he's just come through now. So Alex looking to... Has he set a lap yet? No, I don't think he has he, in this session?
He crashed straight away.
Yeah, crashed straight away, but I just wondered if he had made it out previously anyway. But no, still to register a lap in this one, and that previous lap time then was just cancelled.
Yeah, it looks like we just had that crossover with that medium front. Just a few riders are still, you know, persevering with it. We got Pedro Acosta, we got Bezzecchi. So yeah, the KTM and the Aprilia that always normally are the first ones to, especially the Aprilia, to go a step up with the tyre. It's actually the exact same 3 tyre compounds of last year. So it's all about the temperature, and you know, normally you would want a bit more track temperature to run that medium front.
On board with Alex Marquez alongside Aleix Spargaro. That's the part of the track that really makes your eyes wide open down there into the Ram's Hook. Aleix, good to see he is back out on the racetrack, because just like Marc Marquez earlier, has been put through the tumble dryer. Good crowd for Friday afternoon down there in the main grandstands. Johan Zarco laps in behind the test rider. It'd be interesting to see what the Hondas do this weekend, because it was a really tough one, wasn't it, in Mugello last time out?
Yeah, after a good run over a few rounds, it just seemed like they lost something, lost a bit of an edge. They had the test in Aragon, and we thought, the comments about the swing arm and the increased grip, and it didn't seem to play out throughout the Mugello weekend. They had a bit of a struggle across the factory team and the LCR squad, but Zarco's looking good here. I think this is a track that should work well for Honda in general. It's slightly low grip, and Honda normally works in a lower grip scenario, work good in the cool conditions at Silverstone as well in Johan's hands. So yeah, let's see if he can get in the mix on this one.
Maverick up to 3rd. Vinales is on song already, isn't he, at the start of this weekend? Loves this place himself. Had success here in the past. That season when it all ended badly with Yamaha, I seem to remember there was like an up and down one where he sort of went well here and didn't at the next one. So, you know, he just generally goes well around here.
He went from last to first.
Yeah.
He was in Sachsenring, really struggling, and then turned up here and topped every session and won the race. Did he win?
Yeah, won the race, did incredibly strong as well, actually, across the weekend. As now with 26 minutes to go, we've got several other riders changing positions. Hello, everybody. Back from the land of Formula 1 in the Red Bull Ring, where these guys will be in a couple of weeks' time. Vinales, fastest of all, 48 thousandths up in that 3rd sector, so he's got an improved run around coming through. Glad to see that Ayagura, by the way, is okay, and it wasn't too long of a red flag, so we shouldn't have too big of a delay to the end of the session. 10 minutes extra max. Vinales, 1:31.886. He's gone fastest overall, so that puts Ayagura, who can resume this session, bike number 2, by the way, He's now going to drop out into 11th position. Time the screen's glitch and come back to us for a split second. Alex Marquez looking strong now, 45,000. Acosta goes 4th. Alex Marquez to the top. 1 minute 31.872. Fast up of the session so far. This is more like it for the Dutch Grand Prix. It is the hashtag Dutch Grand Prix, by the way. Dutch GP, we should say, with MotoGP in their practice session before the action gets underway later on in the weekend for the Moto E. That's qualifying, and then also the racing sessions. Mia goes into 9th, 132.357. So an improvement along there. Let's have a look what's happening here. Simon Patterson started a thread coming through. Friend of the channel. What's he up to? He's up back now, down in the first 2 sectors on an old soft front, soft rear tyre. Not knocking volunteer marshals at all, but there's perhaps an argument to be made these days for having a small permanent corps of paid and fully trained marshals who go to race to race. There are certain tasks like firefighting that I would feel more comfortable for all if it was someone professionally trained handling it. I've been in that position with very limited training and equipment, and it's terrifying. Yeah, there's often been a situation where we think, should we have more fully trained marshals coming through around the world? Arguably, I'd say yes. I'd say each marshal point around a circuit should have one trained marshal who has been, that's been paid for by the championship. But the marshals that do this, they've got senior marshals on board, and the best person to talk about this is Last Lap Lucy, who's done a marshalling day at Donington Park. Oh, thank you for this sub to Rob as well coming through. Where's Alex Marquez? Okay. We're going to go down now to interview Davide Brivio at Trackhouse. Might be a bit delayed, so we'll hopefully hear what he's going to have to say. And he's talking now down in the pit lane.
Enea Bastianini is back out on the racetrack. I wonder if Ayagura is going to be out there anytime soon. Rachel is down in pit lane chatting to Trackhouse Brilliant's team boss, Davide Brivio.
Yeah, Davide, that's the question we want to know. How is Ayagura after that massive crash out there earlier?
Yeah, the crash was quite impressive, especially for the bike, but he's okay, luckily. Also, already Dr. Chatter came and have a check. He didn't hit anything on no helmet, not signs on the helmet, so he's okay. It's just getting changed, and then we try to go back in the bike. Of course, the plan has completely changed. We don't have any more tire, not so much tire. We will try to do what we can, but the most important thing is he's okay.
Yeah, the bike is just getting ready here. Here's the second bike, if you can just see that ribbon, if you just pan round. Yeah, you're just mentioning the plan completely changes. What is plan B then now? Just try and get a bit of a time out there on the board?
No, this session is quite difficult. You have seen a lot of crashes at the beginning because a lot of riders were out with a front medium tire, which for the temperature is not ideal. And so now we are all forced to use soft tire, but we don't have unlimited. So you have to manage also for the rest of the weekend. So now we probably have 1 or 2 attempts. I think 1 tire to really go, but okay, that is what it is. But let's try to manage.
Okay, well, hopefully he's okay, and hopefully, yeah, he gets a good job for the rest of the session. Thank you, Davide.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, good to hear. Thanks, Rachel. Good to hear that.
Yeah, Rachel Stringer down there in the pit lane then, giving us the information that we needed to know about whether or not he's going to be back out on the circuit. Thankfully, that is going to be the case. And this is Marc Marquez now on a super slow replay with half the field still in the pit lane, bear in mind. With that in mind, let's return to TNT, shall we, for a little bit?
Out between them, probably they were thinking that the soft, I don't know, wouldn't necessarily be their tyre of choice. In fact, interestingly, you mentioned it before, but both Binder and Acosta were still out on the medium front tyre. That KTM just seems to like the harder front end anyway, with those two in particular. Marco Bezzecchi, another one who was on it. But yeah, they won't necessarily have gone for loads of soft tyres, will they? Not looking at the weather forecast pre-weekend.
Yeah, well, the sun should come out tomorrow and Sunday, so hopefully.
A famous last word, Silvan.
Yeah, but you never know here, don't you? It's always unpredictable with the weather. But yeah, those tires, they're gonna have to manage, you know, they're gonna have to manage that quantity and be very careful, because if that soft is the tire that will work for the qualifying and for the races, they're gonna have to yeah. Obviously, and after a crash like that, the tires are, you know, you can't use them anymore. But he's all right, and that's good news, because that was a massive impact.
Definitely won't be using his tyres again, will they? Burnt to a crisp. No. Been melted in that gravel trap. So he just needs to compose himself here. Get ready to go again. Of course, now in this final 20 minutes, just has to go and set a pre-qualifying run effectively. That's all.
Yeah, that's all. Just bite the screen, lay it all on the line. He's good at it though, Ayagura, and obviously he had a little bit of a dip after the injury at Silverstone, and we want to see him back on form. Seems like this could be a good circuit for Aprilia's.
Hey, for Trackhouse though, double top 10 for the first time for both their riders last time out in Mugello. Again, they'll hope for, they have high expectations, but it's just a step in the right direction, especially for Raul, actually.
Yeah, for Raleigh, you know, the results need to come. There's just so much potential there, and you know, we see it at times. So it was good to see him making those progress and putting a solid performance in Mugello.
Fermin Aldeguer heads out onto the racetrack. Finished on the podium here in Moto2 last year. Was on pole actually, as the pole all-time lap record for Moto2. So Fermin gets on well with this place.
Had it prior to today. It has been defeated by Philip Salac.
Which we weren't sure if that lap time was going to stick, did we? With that many yellow flags going on in Moto2 as well, towards the end of that session. It's been a hard one to get a read on. Got run wide in the race in the Italian Grand Prix, Aldeguer. Never able to recover. It's got that combo of front and rear soft slicks, brand new set, ready to go. Through the turn 12.
Yeah, the traction control there on the left side of the tyre.
Here we go then. We'll get a nice clear lap all by himself. There is no one out on the circuit, so couldn't get better for Fermin. As Ayagura rejoins the fray through this long hanging sequence of right-handers, then back for the Strubben. First split will come up on the little kink here on exit from the Strubben.
Still quite a long way from that lap record that was set last year? Yeah, last year by Bagnaia, 1:30.5. So we're still 1.3, which is quite a lot on a short lap like here, 1 minute 30. So yeah, it seems like we're just lacking that little bit of temperature. And you can see the riders like with the front end just, you know, being a little bit on the cautious side.
Something obviously will shift a lot. Pirelli's strength is certainly getting them up to temperature fast in cool conditions. They work in a different way to generate their grip. Obviously we're going to see Pirelli on these bikes in 2027 and a switch with the Michelin tires going the other way towards super bikes, but that will have a massive change on both championships overall.
Yeah, it's going to be so interesting to see, isn't it, what Pirelli do. They say they don't need anything particularly special for MotoGP, they're feeling.
What do you reckon, Silvan?
I think it's going to be really interesting, but on both sides, for sure. And I mean, the key is going to be for the manufacturers and the riders to adapt to the tires. The tires is just such a major, major effect on how the bike handles and the requirements to set it, from geometry to to electronics, to it changes everything. So you've got to be able to adapt, and it will be about who is going to be able to adapt to the tires best.
Any advantage whatsoever for Ducati having so much World Superbike success in recent times that their bike works with, and they found a way to unlock the tyres?
Yeah. Well, they'll have a lot of data and a lot of understanding already. So yeah, Pirelli said they're gonna make special tyres for MotoGP, but we don't know how different they're going to be. But you'd think the DNA of the tires are going to remain similar. So obviously all that experience that certain manufacturers like Ducati have in World Superbikes and other championships will be really important in how fast they can adapt to the new tires.
It will be interesting if Pirelli do decide to stick with the construction of their front tyre, because typically they've always had a softer sidewall. It provides a little bit more flex, gives the rider good feeling, and that's part of the reason as a rider you go out in these cool conditions and the front tyre talks to you straight away, whereas a Michelin, a Bridgestone, even a Dunlop takes a little bit more work to get the tyre up to temperature, to get that feedback. So yeah, with all the aero in the front of a MotoGP bike now, it'll be interesting to see what Pirelli need to do to deal with those forces that do go through the front tyre. I say the last graphic from Bagnaia said he was pretty much on race distance on his front tyre, but there's a new one, so it is fresh front and rear. Soft tyres for Pecco Bagnaia, being chased by Fabio Quartararo. So let's see what Pecco's capable of here. Good first sector.
Pole here 2 out of the last 3 years. Marco Bezzecchi's on pole in 23. Of course, he's taken victory in the last 3 seasons here. Bagnaia did the double. In fact, topped every single session apart from the warm-up 1 year ago. So, and a big crash behind Lorenzo Savadori.
Oh, that's a huge one again.
Bike in the middle of the racetrack there. Again, are we going to see a red flag?
You're going to have to red flag that, yeah.
With Marc Marquez coming round, arms gone up in the air as Pedro Acosta comes through. Wow. Just on the run out of Steckenval there.
And you see as well, even if he walks out, the bike was lying.
Red flag had to come out.
Yeah, the bike was lying on the tarmac, so you don't know if it's leaking fluid or anything like that. So
for Bagnaia and Rins, it was, sorry, not Quartararo, but Rins was on a good lap as well, and they got the red flag just in the final sector.
Unusual to see high sides. I mean, it's not. We don't normally see crashes like that. And we were talking about electronics, and obviously these bikes have got advanced electronics, but they also use a single ECU, so everybody on the grid is using the same electronic control unit and IMU as well. So that's the inertial.
Yeah, and the red flag's out. Red flag's out again. Session suspended for a second time in this one. That was just at the start of the lap attacks, as we've just started the Formula 2 qualifying session. There's still no audio there. So red flag, session stopped again for the bike in the middle of the road, and that is a safety hazard as well to come through. And that is a shame actually, because we were right in the centre of where we needed the attacks to be. Pecco Bagnaia now on his way back in to the pit lane. And another red flag. So another stoppage to the proceedings. Turn 8 is a fast, blind section of the track as well. It sort of loops back in, so not a lot of chance for the riders to avoid a stricken bike. Pit lane will open in 2 minutes' time to restart, but delay, it causes numerous problems to everybody else's running orders. Red flags out.
And the traction control will come in, and then you'll so if you got too much traction control, it feels like the bike is not coming out of the corner. And also, when you're in the corner, sometimes it's nice to be able to have a little bit of rear spin and control it, so you can make the bike slide and sort of pivot and turn and help turning and pointing the bike in the right direction. But obviously, if you got not enough traction control, you can also lose it, and high side as well. So it's a fine limit, and some riders like it set up in different ways, you know, so that come into play as well. And obviously the engineers back in the box can set the bike to the rider's demand.
Bit of a bitty session as well, hard to get a rhythm going, isn't it, when you keep being called in, back in. Okay, it gives you time to have a quick little bit of a chat and a debrief with your chief mechanic or what have you, but
that's been a mess, hasn't it?
It's just been all day though. Moto2 was the same.
At the start, and yeah, red flags, big crashes.
You know, when we look at the analysis page afterwards, there's going to be lines through most of the laps they've done. Pit lane will be opening.
Good news is, looks like nobody's hurt. So that's the main thing.
So as they prepare Lorenzo Savadori's bike, looks like one more race after this one in Germany for Lorenzo, and then we should be welcoming Jorge Martin back in Brno. Oh, the brick from...
This is interesting because the red flag has come in, but it hasn't. We got told that the pit lane would reopen at 58 minutes past the hour. It is 58 minutes past the hour and the pit lane's still closed. And there's been no update from race control as to when we're going to go green. Davide Tardozzi is looking puzzled. We're looking puzzled. There's no real information on what's going on. Salvadori's okay, by the way. He was the one who brought out the red flag with a crash. So the session still stopped. Ah, that's why the safety car has yet to reach the end of the pit lane. Now, is that going to head back out to the circuit? Yes, it is. The safety car's gone out. So this is very unusual that we haven't had a session that will not restart on time. IRTA are now talking. Davide Tardozzi has gone to talk with IRTA. Something about they've gone to check the track conditions. Well, something's going on. This is the most bizarre practice I can remember in a very long time in MotoGP. There's been so many accidents, so many confusions, and have we got oil on the track at turn 8? Because I can see there's a broom and a bag of sawdust, and if that's the case, then the race director needs to assess it before anything goes down to fix it. Otherwise, it's a change to track conditions. So, well, this that was already a very long session. We've already ticked over to an hour now. We're going to have a further delay as they will now come and run in together. Okay, now here comes the race director. So the IRTA team boss and the race director will both be there, and they'll both now go out and make sure that everything's okay. And the chief marshal at that point would have said, "Is this oil? Is it slippery?" Race director now puts his hand to the ground and telepathically tries to say, "Well, I don't know, it should be okay." The good old stomp test as well with your bottom of your trainer. There's quite a lot of, like mine are, flat form trainers, so you can feel if it's slippy underfoot. And that's not just a medical, safety car either. It will have other things inside it that can detect track conditions as well. It's not like the Formula 1 safety car where Bert Mailander is flying around the circuit in an Aston Martin or a Mercedes. The BMW safety car we have here in MotoGP is designed purely for safety conditions, so it has things in it that can soften up the track, get open. It's got welding equipment in it. Everything you need it is in there. It's the same corners where the crash happened, yeah. So no, I think that happened at turn 7. We're at 8 and 9. Yeah, they're not happy with it, are they? They've put some oil down. Now they'll brush it away, but red flag's out. Let's check in with TNT and see what the guys are making of it.
Years ago.
The hire cars,
since then.
There were a few hire cars back in the day that had taken a few laps of these circuits. Let's put it that way.
Funny enough, every time I've been there to do testing, they never let us out again.
Yeah.
We're not allowed.
Weird, that's surprising, yeah.
Not allowed to play anymore.
A little bit of cement dust down there, or whatever it is they.
Was that where the bike was?
A bit more synthetic. Yeah, it was like the exit, wasn't it? Or was this from the Agura one earlier?
No, it is on the exit, the same turn where Salvadori lost it. Exit of turn 8, Steckenval.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you're right. It is. Yeah, there you can see that's the better shot of it. Slightly banked, isn't it, in there, down to the apex at Steckenval.
It was on the first impact then when the bike landed. Good spot by the marshals there.
Yeah. Safety first. So we'll have 13 minutes to go. Quick, it's like a qualifying session now, isn't it? With just 13.5 minutes to go. Get out there, 2 runs. Here we go.
Not quite the 1998 leaving Titley and McDoon 1 lap time attack. Do you remember that? Round Dassin? I think it was 1998. But yeah, it was literally, I think 2 minutes on the clock. He had a race round to actually start a lap. But yeah, we're going to get 13 minutes of a proper time attack.
It was a 2-minute lap then as well,
yeah,
wasn't it?
That's true, yeah. It was a proper track back then, Gav.
Some I remember, but also, so we're still told. Even Alex Marquez brought it up. I was like, hang about. He goes, oh yeah, the old track.
He wouldn't have rode it.
No, he was about, I think he was born pretty much at that time. But yeah, they've all watched back all the footage of the greats. All the greats have been here. As Steve mentioned before, Jim Redman was here, 93 years of age, when they were minting a new coin, new euro that is being minted, which is a bit of fun for 100 years of the TT. Pit lane will open shortly and we'll be ready to go with a mini qualifying session.
It's the Grand Prix of the Netherlands now, Gav.
No, it's not. I'm not having it. I'm sorry. You can do everything you like. It's the TT.
It's the Dutch TT.
It's got a big TT when we come into the circuit, doesn't it? Yeah, I don't get that one. Someone's going to have to explain why and no one here wants it to be called the Grand Prix of the Netherlands. And I'm thinking from a Liberty Media point of view going into the future, isn't it great to have something that's got a bit of history? Isn't that something that you sell? Part of what this sport has always sold itself on is the oldest motorsport world championship, you know, and history and tradition. And there's nothing more traditional than used to be the last Saturday in June, but the last weekend in June, and we're here at the TT circuit.
It was a shame when they moved away from the old Saturday, the tradition.
TV talks.
Was it TV in the end?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
What was the reason of the Saturday? Why did we start?
No, but we're in quite a religious part of
right.
Netherlands, yeah, and that was it. No
racing on Sunday.
No racing on Sunday. No, you can race it, but not on a Sundays. Yeah. Protestantism in its form up here. Calvinist, is it? I'm not quite sure what it is. Anyway, it was quite staunch and still is in this part of the Netherlands, and so yeah, it was a no until they said it had to be done. Basically, TV dictated in the end, look, to keep our event going here, we're going to need to move it to a Sunday, and that's when people are used to watching their motorsport on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, there's your Formula One, where you had 3 races on a Saturday last year as well, and somehow that's not a problem, is it, anymore? To filter that into the proceedings. And if anybody's wondering why Qatar has been moving around the calendar recently as well, it is because of Ramadan changing. But there is actually a benefit to this that I got told, and I'm quite looking forward to it, because everybody moans about, oh, we've got Abu Dhabi ends the Formula One season and all that lot. It's a rubbish way to end the year. In a couple of years' time, it won't be able to end the season, because Ramadan falls... It's going back and back further every year, and I think in about 2-3 years' time, it's actually first weekend of December where Ramadan is, and that's where the end of the season is for Formula One. So we might get in a couple of years' time Interlagos hosting the season finale for a year or two, but that's when Bahrain will go back to hosting the season opener for Formula One as well, for some reason. Yeah, that's why Qatar was round 4 of the MotoGP calendar this year and not the season opener, because it fell during Ramadan. And yet, they still have races on Easter. Confuses the hell out of me. We don't race at Christmas, we don't race at Hanukkah, we don't race during Ramadan, but you do race during Easter. Confuses me every time. Never know why. Do you know the only sport that now takes Easter off? NASCAR. They take Easter Sunday off. They don't have a race Easter Sunday. Last year they did, but that was for where were we? Can't remember last year, but they never did it again. They said no, we don't want it. The drivers refused. What? Closed the supermarkets. Yeah. So it used to be racing on a Saturday, and then we'll go race on a Sunday. Easter Sunday is now no. So that's why you see. I think the British Superbike Championship. It was Easter Monday it got going this year, wasn't it? Or just afterwards. Is that a sticker? No, it's in the shoe. Just thought for a second. Still, 10 minutes to go. In what has been a... And let's not forget, 10 minutes to go, plus another 15 minutes because they're adding on the practice start session that we couldn't do this morning. Say again? Yeah, I think that I've got a bruise on my leg. It could be from the Wheeze Goodman, actually, as well, thinking about it, because I did, when I was getting Steve at the end of the day, I did knock into a suitcase that she had there. Could be the killer. I don't remember banging my knee, but I have got a bruise on my knee that I've just noticed. Actually, I can have a look actually see if it was there on the weekend, because I do have that photo with me and Steve Ryder, so I'll have a look and see if I do have a bruise there. Let's have a look. I have no bruise on my leg there, so it must have happened post. Yeah, or getting off the train. Because I was carrying the suitcase, that could be it as well. When we had to get back in. Oh, he's mad getting back. I know. I remember when it happened. Getting off the tram in Manchester. I remember now. You're right. Getting back in because the trams are down. You had to take a bus. So I knocked myself trying to get off the bus because I had my suitcase and I banged my leg into the metal post. Forgot that until now because I was talking to this lovely old couple who were going down to Tamworth. They're getting their new travel cards. I digress. We should just call the MotoGP Team Sprint the Marquez Sprint. Well, Marquez has won every sprint bar one. The Silverstone race was won by Alex Marquez. 9 minutes to go then in this session. Marc Marquez the fastest on a 1:31.455. Alex Marquez second. Diving into the pit lane there was Pietro Acosta. He's just on a 1:31.712 actually, so that must be his teammate coming through. Who's dived into the pits? Can't see on the monitor. I think it's Bastianini. It was one of them. Tech 3s that have shot through. Di Giannantonio up into third position. 1:31.528. An improvement there. Well, it must be very busy as well, thinking that on that front. Yeah, it hasn't been a great day for me. We've been doing stuff every hour. Just a reminder, we've got a qualifying coming up later on this evening for NASCAR from Atlanta for a Saturday race. Xfinity race is on tonight. Matthew Owens and JT commentating on that one. Myself, Matthew Owens, commentating on the Cup race tomorrow, I think. Don't know if JT's there or not. With it starting at midnight Sunday morning. It does, however, mean that for the first time in a long, long time, after the Austrian Grand Prix, there's nothing else on the rest of the day. Nothing. We get an early end. So it's a kind of nice weekend before we get going again. Does mean we get a slightly longer post-race show for Formula 1 in case anything happens, like last year, when all hell broke loose. Remember, if Max Verstappen gets... Max Verstappen's actually in a very dangerous position here, because if he gets one penalty point before this weekend, as Rins nearly takes off the back of Bagnaia coming to the last corner, he's stuck to him like super glue. Over the line, Bagnaia goes 9th, Rins goes 6th, so the toe did work, but Bagnaia's not... Yeah, Davide Daudozzi's not happy with that one. I don't think Bagnaia will be either when he gets back around. But if Max gets a penalty point and gets a race ban, it will be so cruel, but because by the time the next race comes around, he'll have 10 penalty points, not 12 on his licence, because 2 go off on Monday. But if he gets it this weekend, he'll still serve the race ban. And then they'll all be wiped clean anyway. So it's sort of get the race ban, get a clean sweep, because if he doesn't get a race ban this weekend and he loses those 2 penalty points, he'll still have 10 penalty points on his license for another 9 Grand Prix. Can Max Verstappen really last 9 Grand Prix without getting 2 penalty points? No. So it's mad how he may as well just serve the race ban at Silverstone, a track that doesn't suit the Red Bull, and come back at where are we next? Belgium, his home race. Well, one of his 2 home races, of course. Or take an early summer break and go get it in Hungary. But if he does get a race ban, it wipes the slate clean, like Kevin Magnussen last year when he got his race ban. Rin's still stuck to the back of Bagnaia, but he's lifted off a bit now, and Bagnaia will come over the... Rin's cut the corner at the last chicane. And Bagnaia goes top, 131.410. Sean says the Marquez brothers 1-2 in all Tito sprints so far this season. Yeah, it really has just been the Marquez affair. Sean says Max has to keep it clean for 9 more rounds, which is going to be difficult. And Proggy says only injury and not being able to race is the only thing that will stop Mark from dominating MotoGP. Certainly the next 2 seasons. 2027 everybody's looking forward to, because it's going to be a complete clean sweep. Every rider on the track will have a factory bike. It can't be it won't be satellite. Round 1 of the 2027 season is going to be the best MotoGP race we've ever seen, because every rider will have a brand new bike. No year-old, nothing. They'll all be up-to-date machinery. And the only difference is the satellite bikes won't have the upgrades throughout the year. So the factory bikes will slowly get better and better, and the satellites won't have that. And then at the end of the year, the satellite team will have all the updates from the 27 season ready for 28, and then we go again. And then it's a year-old bike. So the satellite teams keep their bikes for 2 seasons, whereas the factory just keep them for a single year. That's how the new regulation change is working for 2027, when we drop from 1000cc to 850cc regulations, which is still, what, 250 more, 350 more even, than we had in the 500cc days, and then the 800cc days I was coming to it. There'll be synthetic fuel coming in as well. Yeah, a lot of unpredictability coming into 2027, as Sean said as well. Hard to go over the line. Stays 11th. Jack Attack up to 10th. That drops out Morbidelli, so it's a 131.992. Miller still finding a few positions in the first corner that he's not happy with. Still, we've got Miller in there. Cordora's up to 2 Yamaha engined. And that Prima Pramac still a factory bike, let's not forget. Which is ironic that Martin didn't want to go to it. And now we still don't know what that deal is with Aprilia. How that's going to shape up throughout the rest of the year. Bit of smoke coming out the back there of Bezzecchi's bike. Just have us slightly twitching. Doesn't look to be too bad. It's been an hour and 14 minutes. This is certainly one of the longest. It'll be about an hour and a half by the time we go off because of the practice start session, which I will leave to Gavin and the team. Time attacks coming through. Marco Bezzecchi, yellow flag, sectors 2 and 3. This will spoil everybody's lap time further behind. Bezzecchi to the top though for Aprilia, 131.352. Now why has that yellow flag come out? And it's Marc Marquez for the 2nd time today. Marc is down on the deck, and that is down at turn 7. Very fast, quick right-hander. His brother Alex has just gone fastest, 131.258. But are they going to red flag that session again? Mark is still nailed down. It was a fast old crash. The mechanics, the marshals are there with him. He's being helped to his feet as well. Oh, he looks a bit. He's being helped away. He looks like he looks a bit dazed. bit shaken. I wonder if that was a high side for Mark coming through turn 7. Let's have a replay. If anything, it gets on the curb. Through the right, switches back. Does the rear step out? Does it just drop the front? Oh, he just dropped it. Ooh, it's a slow accident for Mark's standings. Turns in, front's going to dip away, and he just skates across the gravel. It's not actually that bad of an accident. I can't... Oh, hello. Oh, okay. Now I understand. I was thinking, why was Mark... He got up straight away. What hurt him? Mark has hurt his genitalia. I think it's the simplest way to say that. He skated across the gravel, and unfortunately, he got up and then went, oh, hang on a minute. Say again? Yes, his partner looked a bit worried there. Mark's having a little bit of a sit down. Yeah. I can see Gigi Delineo trying not to crack a smile. He's so desperately trying not to, but you can just see in the side of his face a little smile. So, yeah, Mark has hurt his genitalia, which, to be fair, the accident straight over the gravel, and if the airbag didn't deploy, then, yeah, you would be hurt a little bit there as well. Ouch. For Marc Marquez. Second crash of the day for Mark. Alex went off earlier on in practice. Checkered flag is out. Session's over. Viñales just gets through. That kicks out Rins, who's down in 11th position. So Rins now in danger. There's Mark. Yeah, his mechanic's still there. You okay? Yep. No need for the plastic surgeons. There's D'Antonio sits up on the bike ever so slightly, and that's going to hold up Morbidelli. So Franco's not going to be happy with that. Salvadori in 19th, so he's qualified for Q1. Top 10 still might change over slightly. Bezzecchi's taken, confirmed with 3rd position. Bagnaya's in the pits. So is Marc Marquez, he's taken it over, flags out. No one else is improving. Everyone's staying on the orders. It's an anticlimactic end, but kind of expected it, to be fair. Yeah, Sean says that's probably the worst Friday of the season so far for Marc Marquez. I think it's been the worst Friday session for the entire MotoGP paddock, let's be fair. It's been shocking. This practice session, 2 red flags, 13 accidents. And Zarco's delighted because he's kicked out Raul Fernandez. Zarco is through to Q2 automatically on the Honda. Rins misses out, he's 13. So it's Quartararo on top. Alex Marquez, Acosta, Bezzecchi, Bagnaia, Marc Marquez, D'Antonio, Viñales, Morbidelli and Zarco. That's your top 10 automatically through. Out and having to go through Q1. Raul Fernandez, Fernando Guerre, Alex Rins, Miguel Oliveira, Enea Bastianini, Jack Miller, Juan Mir, Brad Binder, Lorenzo Salvadori, Ayagura, Somkat Chantra and Alicia Spargo. That is the running order as it stands. And now it's time for the practice start session, which Mark can partake in because he has bike number 2. Let's head down to the world feed. We expect
it's going to be a sore one, isn't it? At least it's not head, because that's what he looked like, didn't he?
Yeah,
He'd have to be helped up before.
Yeah.
I think he's come back here for the practice start, hasn't he? Because they're having the practice start session they didn't have earlier today to keep the timetable in order. Too much information, perhaps. As Mark's having a word with Dr. Charte just at the bottom of the screen. This was the crash.
He was 2 tenths under at the first split, full commitment. So fast, just surfing across the top of the gravel.
It's made all of us cross our legs inside this commentary box, I think. Right to fifth, back to third. There we are.
Crash.
It is, yeah, 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, the MotoGP bikes back shift. They can take that high RPM into the. That is the Ramshook, isn't it? Not the Ruskin hook.
No,
Oh, that's the Ruskin hook.
yeah.
Sorry. The fast right end.
The right is
end
the
straight.
Ruskin hook, yeah. Well, the whole thing, I think. Pedro Costa being held back by Maverick Vinales.
Mark's not going to do the test. The practice starts. Looks like, yeah, no fuel, so obviously the bike's being as light as possible for the lap time attack. And sometimes they can run out of fuel like that. It actually makes quite a big difference, you know. You feel that when the bike is really light, it just feels better. It just feels really good.
I think at the Mav Superman, because it's on helmet leathers, on the arms with leathers, boots and gloves, it's definitely part of the promo for the movie.
Well, I guess so. I mean, he's done DC stuff in the past, hasn't he, with Batman, and you just with Maverick, you never know, though, don't you? So we head out to our practice start session. Practice starts will be taken just out of the Strubben on the back straight. Okay, end of day one, chaps. What's your reading of it? Fabio Quartararo is on top from Alex Marquez, Pedro Acosta, Marco Bezzecchi. That's 4 manufacturers in the top 4 positions. All the manufacturers are represented, with Johan Zarco having gone through. How do you read day one?
Well, I mean, first of all, Fabio Quartararo and Yamaha on top. After the very difficult weekend in Mugello, they really struggled in Mugello. That's a good sign, and obviously Fabio was on a roll with 3 poles in a row, and everything went away in Mugello. So yeah, that's a really good sign. We know the Yamaha normally goes well around here, but yeah, and seeing the different manufacturers at the top, but then with the other guys, probably not the riders we expected. We expected Vinales a bit better, so he's still in the top 10, but Pedro Acosta putting that really good lap to go in P3. Confirmation with the Aprilia, you know, with Bezzecchi doing good as well, and carrying on the good. He's going to have to qualify better for Mugello. He had a good pace, but unfortunately going from 10th on the grid, he was made the job really hard. So hopefully he can qualify a bit better.
Obviously we had a great first few laps, both the sprint and in the main race when we were in Italy. You know, Assen lends itself to good racing, usually. I think back to 2018 every time you think about one of the best races that we've had here. You know, with all these different manufacturers up there, is there a chance? Is there a chance we get a few different names, different people in there? It should give us a good race, shouldn't it?
Yeah, I think so. We've seen some crackers here in the past. 2018 springs to mind. It was a multi-bike battle at the front of the field, and this weekend we've got Ducatis, Aprilias, Yamahas and KTMs all looking strong, and no one head and shoulders above. Even Mark, 2 crashes, and yes, he's fast, but obviously will be feeling a little under the weather today. He hasn't had a Friday like that this season, with 2 big offs and feeling a bit second-hand, so it's certainly got a different complexion heading into Saturday. Obviously the temperature comes up, changes things, brings the medium front tyre into effect a little bit tomorrow. You never know here with the weather. It could stay cool throughout Saturday and Sunday.
Bodes well for the rest of the weekend that we've got coming up for you. Later on this afternoon, after we've finished here, we will have qualifying for Moto E. Frankie Morbidelli gets away, looked up a smoke there as his front tyre dropped onto the ground. I think it was just hovering above there, and it's one of those. Yeah, qualifying for Moto E. That's here on TNT Sports 2. We're on air on Saturday morning from 7:35 on TNT Sports 2. Moto 3 pre-practice, Moto 2, and then MotoGP pre-practice. UK time, this is 9 in the morning.
The front wasn't down.
Yeah.
Front device wasn't activated
See
there.
the difference immediately it makes with the front up. It just wheelied straight away as soon as he dropped the clutch.
Huge difference.
MotoGP qualifying on Saturday from here in Assen is 10 to 10 UK time. Hours difference from Europe, of course. And then Moto3 qualifying after the first Moto E race is at 10 to 12. Moto2 qualifying 1:45 on Saturday, and we'll have the build up to the sprint, 13 laps of sprint race from 1:30. All of it on TNT Sports 2. On Sunday, all your regular times on air after the warm-ups from 9 AM. So much to look forward to. Pecco, did he start his comeback in Italy? Or will there be more dominance after a big couple of crashes for Marc Marquez here today?
Alex Marquez is looking really good on the 2024 Ducati, and yeah, we got so far we got lap times that are quite a bit slower. I mean, Pecco is nearly a full second. Pecco Bagnaia is nearly a full second slower than what he did in qualifying last year. So quite a big difference.
But that's just a very eager fan.
Yeah,
Some
doing it for the gram.
yeah, video footage. Get a second practice start though.
Zarco again, fastest Honda in the top 10 directly into Q2. So yeah, great effort by Joan Zarco.
Yeah, by a decent margin as well. Somkiat Chantran ahead of Aleix Espargaro, but Aleix himself had a big off, didn't he?
Yeah.
Earlier in that session.
Anyway, if the sun doesn't come out, you're going to have to do some mileage with those soft fronts.
Yeah.
Because
That worries you for the allocation.
Yeah.
Obviously you need it for qualifying and the two races.
Looks like Nea Bastianini stalled it. A little hobble as well as he pushes his bike back.
And Nea's certainly looking like he's finding something with the KTM of late. Does need it, man.
Yeah, he needs one lap.
look at that. See the front wheel there? That's the problem.
That's what happened with Morbidelli before.
Yeah, the front wheel just is off the ground all the way from the very start. So when he just finally regains contact, it's not spinning at all, or it's going much slower, and you can actually crash like that. It just, makes it completely like slide underneath you.
How Pecco Bagnaia feels about his first day here at Assen. Quarter of a second off Quartararo's time on the one lap pace. Interesting to have a look. No one have been able to get a rhythm going today.
No, I mean that session was a bit of a mess. I mean, we had all those crashes to start with, all those yellow flags. We're going to see the crash again of Marc losing the front just there. Two crashes for Marc, so yeah, he's got pace, but obviously lost it twice. He's going to feel battered. There's no way he's going to say that.
No.
I just won't.
Even his body position, you can tell he's not preparing for a front tuck or a front movement.
Yeah. That looks painful.
We're all feeling that one.
Yeah, his chin as well. Yeah,
Yeah, it has.
looks like he really smashed his chin. Did you see that?
Is that from that or the one earlier?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's really swollen.
If it was from that. I think the only bit of him that will be swollen today. And the fans have been kept on their toes already. Start the weekend, loads more action to come here from the TT at Assen. It's Fabio Quartararo Wednesday one on top. 3 poles to his name already this season. I wonder if he might have chance of another one. He's going straight through to Q2 alongside Alex Marquez, Pedro Acosta, Marco Bezzecchi. Bagnaia is in them ahead of Marc Marquez. Show and Zarco rounding out the top 10, and then these are the riders who will be battling it out in Q1 on Saturday. We'll have all the action for you, of course, here on TNT Sports. We're on air from 7:30 UK time in the morning, all the way through qualifying just before 10 a.m. and the build-up to the sprint from 1:30 on Saturday. Thank you so much for your company from day one here in Assen, and we hope to see you back tomorrow morning and all the way through the rest of the weekend. Thanks for joining us. Have a good evening.